Yeah, what do you want? I think I'll tell you a bit about the recent war we had with the Republic. That might be more familiar to you. The one where Jedi Revan beat my people. We started by conquering worlds outside the Republic. We did it quietly so the Republic wouldn't really know what was going on until it was too late. When we finally did hit the Republic worlds, they had no idea we were coming. We came in through 3 invasion corridors in adjacent sectors. Anyone who put up a fight, or wouldn't fight, was crushed. We razed whole worlds trying to provoke the Republic into fighting us. I don't particularly enjoy wiping out worlds for its own sake, but the cowardly tactics the Republic defenders used left us little choice. Hiding in the homes of civilians, using families as shields, thinking we would not use appropriate force on their bases inside major cities. They underestimated our resolve, and what measures are acceptable in war. Those who cannot defend themselves should not be around those who can in battle. If annihilating a city is the kind of power it takes to overwhelm a Republic shield device, then that's what we did. Necessary force to destroy all opposition. There was no honor in wiping them out like rats, but some of your forces did redeem the Republic in our eyes, especially later. Later, when Revan had joined the war. But we'll get back to that. We've wasted too much time already. Is there something else you want to know? Korriban is a Sith world, that's for sure. I mean, just look at this place. Rumor has it that the leader of our clan at the time, Mandalore, did go down. They say the Sith performed terrible magics here. You have anything else? You're...
Got something on your mind, dude? Bad men. Women, too, to be fair. Oh, indeed. They make a fine sandwich, also. But don't tell the Jedi Council I said that. And just what gave you the impression that I know anything more about the Sith than you do? Oh, that's right. Damn the ears of the young. I was expecting you to be your usual inattentive self when I mentioned that. So it's true, yes. I fought plenty of Sith. That was during the time of Exar Kun. Oh, 40 years ago now. Has it been that long? Exar was a Jedi who was corrupted by ghosts of the old Sith, or so they say. He attempted to conquer the Republic and create a new golden age of the Sith. Better to say he was defeated, but essentially, yes. The victory did not come easily, however. No, of course not. The Sith have come and gone for ages. They were not called the Sith many thousands of years ago, perhaps, but the dark side was always present, without a doubt. Oh, sure, occasionally the light side comes close to vanquishing the dark, but the dark always returns. The fact that Exar Kun was defeated didn't mean the Sith would never return, as they obviously have now. Everyone knows that. A Sith believes he commands the Force, but it is the dark side who commands him. You know this. There is little else I could truly add. That is not a pleasant time to remember. After Exar Kun fell to the dark side, he attempted to recruit other Jedi to his cause. What surprised us, what took us completely unprepared, was how utterly successful he was. Many Jedi joined him and became Sith themselves. Why they did, I will never truly know, but they did. Battle broke out throughout the Order, pupil against master. We fought ourselves. Yes, more than difficult. Next to impossible. How do you fight against someone you love? Puh, I dislike such memories. It leaves a taste in the mouth that... it is a sadness I thought I had put aside long ago. Ask me about the war some other time, just not now. I would prefer to be by myself for now.
How may I be of assistance? I am thinking of what happened on Korriban. To see such horrible, warped rituals that the Sith practice. It is unnerving. I can truly see now why we must defeat Malak as quickly as possible. To prevent that sort of society from consuming the entire galaxy. It angers me to think of it. Yes, I understand. Do not let my passions and impulses rule me. Remain calm and serene. But I fear that when I am confronted with these monsters, I will lose myself. I think that I may yet fall to the dark side by the very desire to fight it. I know. I should not worry. I am grateful for your support in this matter. It seems that whenever I have a problem, I turn to you. Sometimes I almost seem to want problems, just for the chance. But I am sorry. I should not speak of this. It is a relief to have someone to turn to when I am feeling uncertain. How may I be? What is it you... After my father died, my mother was left to support me alone. A single non-human woman, living in one of the worst, most violent slums on Taris. It was not easy for her. When my father was killed, it seemed that something in her began to die as well. She worked as hard as she was able. But over time, she began to waste away. I later learned that she was unable to get enough money to feed both of us, and had to start borrowing from the exchange, a band of cutthroats and smugglers. But even that was not enough. She hid what she was doing from me. She gave most of her food to me so that I would be strong, but she herself was suffering deeply from it. In the end, she could go on no longer, and collapsed at the cantina where she worked one day. She never recovered. There was nothing really that I could do for her. She left me no money, and no doctor would see her without being paid first. I sat by her bed for days as she lay there dying. I never want that to happen to someone I care about ever again. But there was still the money she had borrowed. She had never paid it back and made no provisions for her death. You must understand. The exchange is brutal. They care nothing for the life of a sentient being. They are the major suppliers of slaves on Taris. They thought it would be appropriate that, with my mother owing them money, the debt should be passed on to me. And with no way to pay, they took me by force. You have no idea what it is like to be bound like a beast and treated as such. It was the worst time of my life. They treated me like livestock. They were waiting for a buyer to give them some credits for me when the Jedi came to fight the Mandalorians. The Jedi could not abide by what they saw there, and drove the exchange from the face of the world, freeing those of us imprisoned there. But the Jedi soon left to fight their war, and I was left with a dream. I swore that I would become a Jedi. As soon as I had enough money to do it, I bought passage on a freighter headed for Dantooine, and we both know what has happened since then. I am grateful to you for having given me the opportunity to fulfill my dream, rather than become what I hated. Someday, I may make it up to you, but for now, let us keep on the task at hand. How can I help?
Sorry. Should we have the It's not that...
Yes, what's on your mind? Oh, it's nothing, sorry. Moping? I'm not moping. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm moping a little, but you're very pushy. You know that? I told you my wife died 4 years ago. I've just been trying to remember what she looked like. It shouldn't be so difficult. I can remember things about her, things she did, the way she smiled, what her hair smelled like. Our last fight, just not her face. I try and hold it in my head, but it's gone. I know, is that strange? Maybe I shouldn't be talking to you about this. But I should be able to remember her face. It's frustrating. I feel like I'm losing her. It must look really strange for me to be obsessing like this still. You must think I'm incredibly stupid. Well, I suppose you're probably right, but I have to do it anyway. The only thing that's kept me going since she died has been the need to find Saul and kill him. It's better to think about that than anything else. If I can do that, then maybe I can let her go. Let it all go. If we encounter Saul, if we ever have the chance, promise me that I'll be the one to kill him. I have to settle this. I need to. Whether it does or not, that's the way it has to be. I guess there's no need to discuss it until then. Yes, what's on your mind? You got it.
Calo Nord is dead, Lord Malak. He has failed in his mission. Forgive me.
The penalty for failure is death, Admiral Kareth. But the failure was Calo's, not yours. You may rise.
Shall I hire another bounty hunter, Lord Malak?
No mere bounty hunter can stand against a Jedi. I shall not make the same mistake again. My apprentice, Darth Bandon, shall take care of our young Jedi friend. Find Bastila and bring her to me, alive, if possible.
As you command, Master.
Yes, what's on your mind? You mean if I kill him? Well, I never thought about it. I suppose I always assumed that I would be dead once Saul was. Understand that whenever I envisioned taking on Saul in the past, it was always as the captain of my own ship, or alone. In those cases, I would risk everything. But I'm not in the same situation now. I wouldn't risk hurting you or the others. You don't think I would throw away everything we're doing here, do you? I would like to think that I wouldn't put you in danger, that I wouldn't forget that there's more behind Saul that needs to be stopped. If I saw Saul, however, if I had the chance, I don't know what I'd do. I really don't. I mean, his death has been my entire focus for so long. I know, I'll see this through. I promise you that, no matter what. As for what comes afterward, well, let's wait until I know that I'm around to see it.
How may I be of what?
Got something on your mind, do you? Not particularly. I suppose you're going to nag me until I cough it up, aren't you? Nothing is private anymore, it looks like. There's no escaping it, I guess. So be it. My wife's name was Neyama. She was the Yucata's enforcer who shot me out of the sky, if you remember. My wife had plenty to do with the war. Upon meeting her, I knew right away that she was strong in the Force. That's why she was able to shoot me down. Neyama was a marvel of a woman. Fiery, determined, smart. She dragged me to the capital and foiled 3 of my attempts to escape prison. Oh, and that body. Well, yes, that. Needless to say, I eventually won her over. That was after I kidnapped her upon being broken out of the Yucata's prison, mind you. But, that's another story entirely. At any rate, I wanted to train her in the Jedi way. The Council refused my request, naturally. I was still a Padawan at the time. I was an experienced Padawan, surely, but not yet ready to be a full Jedi, and certainly not ready to train another, especially not one so old as my wife. Neyama was intrigued by the idea of becoming a Jedi. She liked the idea of power too much, perhaps, but I certainly didn't see that at the time. I believed in her and trained her in secret. I ignored her willful nature. I loved her too much to see fault in her, and she loved me too. I know she did. At the time, our love was a shared bliss, better than anything I had known before or since. Exar Kun is what happened. Neyama was inspired by Exar's promises of a new golden age. She wanted to join him. She came to me, pleading with me to throw aside what she called the decrepit trappings of the Jedi, to join her in Exar's war. I hadn't thought so, not right then. I was too proud to believe that of her. I had trained her myself. I loved her. I pleaded with her to reconsider, to think about all that she was throwing away, to think about what she would become. She would have none of it. Finally, in frustration, she attacked me. She drew her lightsaber and attempted to strike me down. It was a scene being repeated everywhere throughout the galaxy. Pupil against master. In my case, it was a long and terrible battle, but I defeated her. No, I had her at my mercy, disarmed and defenseless. She looked up at me and she knew I couldn't do it. But I should have. Sometimes I convince myself otherwise, but it's no use. She had fallen to the dark side when she raised her saber against me, and I let her go. To my shame, she went on to kill many Jedi during the war, until she herself was slain in the final battle. I grieved for her death, inevitable as it was, even as the Jedi Council put me on trial for my actions once the war was over. I had trained Neyama against their wishes. I had failed to kill her when I had the chance, and she went on to kill others. Not to mention that I had remained a Padawan throughout the war. A formality, perhaps, but with the trial, it had to be decided if I was worthy to become a Jedi at all. It was a travesty, of course. I told you that even the Jedi were capable of great injustices, didn't I? But I deserve to be tried. They found me innocent. Even though I deserved every punishment and more, they let me go. Mitigating circumstances, they said. I deserved compassion, they said. They said I had learned wisdom the hard way. For all I had done during the war, they wished to raise me to full Jedi status at long last. That was when the Jedi left me. That was when they failed me. No, maybe you don't at that. They may have been able to forgive me. I could never forgive myself. Yes, I do, I suppose. Does that surprise you? It is all so long ago, lost in the winds, I suppose. Nobody cares what an old man believes anymore, do they? Let's continue on with the task at hand. I would prefer to think of the present today.
Yeah, what do you want? We fought against the Republic forces for some time, over the course of many battles. At the start, they were not much of a threat to speak of. But once the Jedi Revan took charge, things began to turn against us. The Republic fleets began to use more than just basic tactics. Feints, counterattacks, mass deceptions. Revan was a genius on the field. Revan abandoned worlds of their defenders so that others would be too fortified to strike, and was willing to make sacrifices in order to advance goals. And in the end, Revan proved too much for us. The Sith had gone, retreated into their empire. They sealed themselves off from the rest of the galaxy. We thought it would be centuries before they'd come back. It's amazing that they could rebuild their fleet so fast. But at the time, it looked like the galaxy was in our grasp. I still remember that final battle in the skies above Malachor 5. The two fleets filling the space around it, outshining the stars. It was not your ships or your men or your vaunted fight for freedom that won this, the final battle of the war. It was by the actions of one person, the Jedi Revan, that you prevailed. His strategies and tactics defeated the best of us. Even Mandalore himself was taken aback by the ferocity of his attacks, the tenacity of his defenses, and the subtleties of his plans. He fought us to a standstill, and then began pushing back. We really didn't have a chance. It was what we had wanted all along, in a way. We wanted to fight the best, in a battle that would be remembered for centuries. And we did. And Revan won. I don't hold a grudge against Revan, and neither do any of my people. It was the greatest moment of my life to be in that battle. If Revan had been a Mandalorian, nothing in the galaxy would have stopped us. But wishing for the past to be different is useless. Better look to the future, as we should now. We'll talk more later, I think. Is there something else you want to know? Your choice.
Yes?
You're back. The Council said you might return to Dantooine. I'm glad you did. I wanted to thank you. I almost didn't think the Jedi Council would give me a chance, but they said everyone was welcome to return to the light side. I guess I never really believed in the dark side. This just feels so right. I can't remember the last time I felt at peace like this. They said I have a long road ahead of me, but they made me a proper Padawan, and I have a master now. I just can't thank you enough. I guess so. You pointed me in the right direction, though, and I have to be grateful for that. The Sith certainly didn't have my best interest at heart. Well, at any rate, I wish you well. May the Force be with you.
Hello. It is good to see you again. You told me I should rethink my path, and I did. You were right. It's been very hard to let go of all those thoughts about power and strength and victory. I don't know if I'll ever be completely free of them. The real irony is that despite what the Sith Code says, I have never felt more free. I think I might be able to find a little peace here, finally. That's very tempting, but I'm not ready to leave here yet. And I don't belong on the path you have to take. I told you that on Korriban. It's still true. But perhaps you could come back afterwards. I could certainly use a friend then. That's good. I look forward to that time. Perhaps we can travel together then. For now, they've been very welcoming. More than I'd expected. I met my old master. He cried when he saw me. I was embarrassed to see his weakness. Old habits die hard. But it felt good, too. It felt good to know he missed me. That he worried about me. The council said they would give me time to decide if I wanted to try again. If I was ready. I don't know. There's so much I've done. I suppose I have. It's still tempting, all that power. But I've had my fill of it, and it wasn't enough. My old master said he would start exercises with me again, slowly, when I was ready. He said my experience with the dark side could make me a very wise Jedi. There is no emotion. There is peace. There is no ignorance. There is knowledge. There is no passion. There is serenity. There is no chaos. There is harmony. There is no death. There is the Force. Those words never held such resonance for me until I returned. I'd like some serenity, some harmony. Wouldn't you? Yes, I suppose your fate still has much in store for you, just as I saw back on Korriban. I don't know. I doubt it. Even if I wanted to, the Sith would never take me back. To them, I'm a traitor. But the dark side, that's a different matter. The dark side is not the Sith. I still feel its temptation strongly. My emotions are so strong. Just the other day, I nearly attacked a poor Padawan for tripping into me. Nearly berated his clumsiness and weakness. I didn't, thankfully. But it's difficult to fight off those feelings. How do you do it? That's the worst thing to hear, how hard it is. I suppose that's the honest answer. The dark side is the easier path for a reason. The one thing that made me come here was how hard I had to think to remember where I began and where Yuthura the Sith Master ended. That wasn't the person I wanted to be. So how did I end up there? It will take some time for me to sort through that, I think. You know, I'd forgotten all about that until I spoke to you about it on Korriban. Strange, considering my hate for them is what made me leave the Jedi. I think I've got to help myself first, before I can help anyone else. Maybe once that happens, I can work with the Jedi to make a difference. They may work slowly, but they do make a difference, don't they? More than the Sith did. The Sith bring more misery than the slavers ever did. I don't know why I didn't see that before. I may not be able to change everything at once like I wanted to, but it would feel good to really help someone for a change. Maybe that's a reason to change. Maybe that's a reason to stay. I guess I'll see. Then may the Force be with you, my friend. I hope we will see each other again.
I'm here.
What?